Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on the Cool Topics channel. I'm Ted Yakuchi, and today I would like to explore with you a subject that I've thought about for a long period of my life, and that is not if UFOs exist, not if there is life outside our solar system, which I believe there is, but how we would react, both as individuals and as a community, a local community, an American community, and an international community, if a UFO did visit our Earth on purpose, right? So I think that would change so much. It would change so much about not only how we look at the world, but probably how we look at ourselves and our place in the world, right? And so I think it's really interesting to kind of think through that scenario. What if a UFO, what if an alien life form, alien life species visited on purpose our Earth? And some of it probably would depend immediately on where it landed. Did it land in the US? Did it land outside the US? Did it land in a remote area? And how we would immediately proceed and perceive all of that. But what I thought we would do initially in what will be the first of the series, is just kind of take a step back and just kind of take an overview of how an alien visitation would affect all of us here on Earth. So let's start with that.
Everybody get back now. This is a restricted area.
Move behind the line, folks. You cannot be here.
What if a UFO didn't crash? What if it didn't hide? What if it arrived on purpose? Not as a fleeting light in the sky, not as an ambiguous radar contact, but as a deliberate, unmistakable visit. What would actually happen next? Well, the first moments would not belong to the public, of course. They would belong to sensors. Military radar systems would detect any UFO long before it was visible to the naked eye. Satellites would track it. Space agencies would notice anomalies in orbit. Within minutes, defense networks around the world would certainly be alert. And the object's behavior would matter. If it maneuvered beyond known physics, accelerating without propulsion, changing direction instantaneously, hovering without lift, it would immediately be classified as something unprecedented, not unidentifiable, but unexplainable. At that point, governments would face a dilemma they've never had to publicly solve. Do you announce it immediately, or do you wait? Well, history would suggest hesitation. From nuclear accidents to intelligence breaches, officials tend to delay disclosure until they at least understand the threat. A purposeful UFO visit would be the ultimate unknown, technologically superior, intentions unclear, and impossible to intercept. The first public statements, if any, would likely be cautious, anomalous object, no indication of hostility, investigation ongoing. But silence would be impossible to maintain, not today, not in today's world, because the moment civilians saw it on phones, live streams, telescopes, the event would escape control. Social media would flood instantly. Live streams would replace official briefings. Rumors would outpace facts. Markets would react before explanations existed. and humanity would split into familiar camps. Some would feel awe. Some would feel fear. Some would deny it entirely. Religion, philosophy, and science would collide in real time. If the object attempted communication, the stakes would escalate dramatically. Language would be a barrier, not just linguistically, but conceptually. Human communication is shaped by biology and culture and evolution. An intelligence that evolved elsewhere might not share our assumptions about symbols, sound, time, or meaning. Even interpreting intent would be dangerous. A signal meant as greeting could be perceived as threat. A demonstration of technology could be mistaken for a warning. The history of first contact on Earth between unequal civilizations offers a sobering lesson. Encounters rarely favor the less advanced side, even when intentions are peaceful. Militarily, humanity would be outmatched by default. Any civilization capable of interstellar or interdimensional travel would possess technology beyond our most advanced weapons. Now, that doesn't mean that they would be hostile, but it does mean force would be irrelevant, which raises an uncomfortable truth. Earth's power structures would suddenly matter far less. Borders would really mean nothing. Nuclear arsenals would lose their leverage. Human dominance would no longer be assumed. Scientifically, the consequences would be enormous. Proof of non-human intelligence would confirm that life is not unique to Earth. Biology, physics, and cosmology would be rewritten overnight. Entire theories would collapse or be proven incomplete. But the most profound impact wouldn't be technological. It would be psychological. For the first time in history, humanity would confront the reality that it is not the highest intelligence in its known environment. That realization would challenge how we define progress, superiority, and even purpose. Are we being observed, evaluated, warned, or are we simply being acknowledged? And then there is the question no one could answer. Why now? Why choose this moment in human history? An era defined by climate instability, nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, and global tension. If the visit were intentional, timing would not be random, which would force us to consider a final possibility. That the visit is not about them, but about us. In the end, a purposeful UFO visit wouldn't just change what we know about the universe. It would change how we see ourselves. Because the greatest shock wouldn't be discovering we are not alone. It would be realizing that for the first time, humanity is no longer the one doing the watching.